Hello and welcome back, and today we're going to be talking about how to help somebody who has a lot of negative self-talk. So if you know someone struggling with this, you're in the right place to learn how to help them. So do you often hear sort of your friend or somebody that you love criticizing themselves harshly? So maybe, having thoughts like they're not good enough or they can't do something that you know that they can. So these are signs of negative self-talk, as you probably know, and that's why you're here. So they can affect your mental health significantly. And obviously it could be one of your friends' cheerleaders, and basically you know that they're really good at something, but they just can't see it themselves. So it just takes you to be able to kind of lift them up and give them a bit of a pep talk to help them understand that they are good enough and that they don't mess up all the time. Just a basic example of this way of how people might be thinking. Negative self-talk isn't just about being self-critical. So it's a pattern that some people get into that can spiral out of control. So it can go into sort of some serious mental illnesses like depression and major bouts of anxiety that some people might feel. So it also shapes how they see themselves and their abilities to complete tasks as well. And it often stops them from reaching their full potential. So this negative self-talk pattern can often sort of be going round in somebody's head, and then if they continually have this spiraling and they're left in their own, to their own devices or to their own thoughts, this can just make them actually believe their own thoughts, even if you know this to not be true. So I've worked with many people to help them shift these negative thought patterns. It's essential to approach this with understanding, supportive strategies as well, rather than just sort of like of course you can do it, like getting really aggressive and in someone's face about how the fact that you know that they can complete this task, that they are good enough and they're not going to mess up. It's being sort of like having a strategy of sort of reassurance more than anything. It's essential to approach this with understanding and supportive strategies. So simple reassurance and telling them that everything's going to be okay often isn't enough to actually help them. So if this negative self-talk is left unaddressed, it can end up, like I said before, being the self-fulfilling prophecy. So it can lead to lower self-esteem from the person. They can miss out on major opportunities. So say they got a job offer, for example, they could end up thinking that they're not good enough for it. And they could end up missing out and not taking the opportunity because they feel like they're not good enough for it and they're fearful, basically. So it can be a lot of missed opportunities from people. So even more, the feelings of isolation and distress, particularly if you don't really understand. And I've had this with sort of friends as well as clients, where that these people can actually achieve whatever it is that they're talking about. So even if it's like a promotion or leaving a job because that there's something better out there for this person and they just can't see it themselves, but you know that they can do it, but they're really unable to see it themselves. And this is sort of, where you need to be able to do something more than reassure them. You need to be able to give them some sort of proof that they can do it. Like, there's loads of examples of people that you can find online, of people that have sort of felt the fear and done it anyway. Some people can be really risk averse as well. So, it depends on sort of their mindset. So that can be a major thing as well if you're really trying to help somebody. If they've got a fixed mindset, then no matter how hard you try to be able to reassure them, it doesn't necessarily work as well. How can you help them change their thoughts? Transforming their inner dialogue. So it might mean going to therapy. It might mean reading some books and recommending some books. And, it's changing their dialogue from negative to empowering and being able to assist them in believing in themselves. So here's some strategies that you can use to try and to help somebody else that has these negative thoughts as well. So the first one is a mindful awareness. So start by noticing that negative self-talk, and awareness is the first step towards change. So when you watch yourself in the negative thought pattern, pause and take a deep breath. Reframing your thoughts is another idea. So challenge your negative thoughts. Question their validity. Easy for you to say. Ask yourself, is this thought based on facts or assumptions? Do I know this to be true? and then replace the negative thoughts with positive affirmations. So help the person with self-compassion. Tell them to talk to themselves like you would talk to, like they would talk to a friend. So if they were talking to you, would they be sitting there telling themselves that they're not good enough and they can't do it? No, they wouldn't. They would be saying the same thing that you're saying. So you need to speak to them and just try and get them to switch their thoughts around. Replace their thoughts with what they would say to you if they were talking to you. So it's acknowledging the struggles without the judgment. So visualization, you can use visualization for this as well. So positive visualization techniques. So imagine yourself succeeding and feeling confident. So you can obviously help your friend with this as well and do the validation with them with the visualization. Imagine themselves succeeding and feeling confident, and it's a mental practice and it can really help rewire your brain as well. And just also the cost of doing nothing. So continue down this path of negative self-talk, it can lead to increasing anxiety, low self-esteem, and even depression. And this is what happens when things are left to their own devices and not helped. So your relationships, your career, and your overall happiness can suffer from this. But by taking action now and by helping the person, you can help transform their inner dialogue and unlock a more fulfilling and empowered life. So like I said, showing people some proof, giving them some ideas of some reading to do, or showing them sort of live examples of people that have achieved what they're looking to achieve as well. And it's sometimes when the people have spiraled that far, it's not always possible to be able to get yourself out of these sort of situations, but it's not impossible. You can help transform their inner dialogue and unlock a more fulfilling and empowered life. So if you've liked this, let me know, and thank you very much for watching. Hope this has helped.